pleasure, privilege, and honor to be here in front of you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in, sitting down, paying attention to what we're going to be doing with you. We'll all be writing poems, and I guarantee you, before you leave this entire gym right here, every single one of you guys are going to have a poem written. If you give us 10% of any effort you have, I guarantee you, every single one of y'all are going to have a poem. I promise. And some of y'all may even perform those poems. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking that performing poems isn't the greatest thing ever. It's scary. It's cool. Number one fear of an average person in the world is actually speaking in front of an audience, performing. Y'all know what the number two fear of people in the world is? Under performing in front of an audience is being burned alive. Now, we're reasonable people here, so you can either perform your poem or we'll light you on fire. Eventually we'll put you out, I promise, but it'll be all good. So, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. We've been on a national tour now for 4 months. We've been all over the country. Before we came to Little Rock, we were in Hot Springs. Before we were in Hot Springs, we were in Albuquerque, or we were in Oklahoma City, then we were in Albuquerque, then we were in Denver, then we were in Detroit, then we were in Wisconsin. So we've been all over the country for a little while now. The tour's wrapping up, and it's great to be able to end it with you guys. But where I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. And Jacksonville, Florida is one of the most funny places in the world. We're in the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest city in the country, in the world, land-wise. We're one of the only places that have a river that flows upstream, us and the Nile River, St. John's and the Nile River. And then we're also in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most churches in your city, which I think is funny because at the same time, we're also the murder capital of Florida. So, there's a lot of reasonless crime that goes on in our city. You'd almost get to the point where you appreciate organized crime because you get a lot of people that are just driving by and shooting at random people. So, this is from my city, and this is a situation that happened. It's called Black Timbs. Black Timbs hoodie with matching slacks makes the body consume. Car looms over spot to take. Left foot down, right foot waits, no sound but quick action. The ghetto hypnotized samurais leading blue and red factions. Liquor store door swings getting slowed by the steel arm. New clerk welcomes, ask him help him. Kid undershirt has the steel on. Right hand on the trigger, be quick with no lip. Pointer finger slips, body's feet start to trip. Shattered, broken on the tile. A face with a permanent smile. Another world file left a wife and a child. Immediately proceed to plan B. Smash and grab cash and leave quickly. Cops were called in, sent 2 cars in pursuit. Suspect hoodie with black Timbs going matching with the suits. 17 living the dream, carrying home grandma's social security card. Always trusted and crime was disgusted, but it wasn't his thing. Had some cash so his feet moved fast. When the time of high crime and the sun didn't last. We're all black so we wouldn't be seen by the thugs and crack fiends. Seemed routine to bring home milk and things. Make a stop at the convenience store, arrives at the scene. Crack face in the back wall has a hole in the middle. Seen a lot of death but no life was little. Digestion gets put in reverse as first felt feelings disperse. Collects himself and heads out for help when left eye nearby sees cash on the shelf. See, first thought was money was needed. So instinct to grab was heated. Just then cops pulled in, didn't go by the age, only went by the skin. See, young boy panics when cops begin to shout. Back door was cracked so he found his way out. He peels out fast after doing his deed. I do it for the rush, a couple $100 I didn't need. Lights start to flash, already paranoid from the hash. Cocks the pistol, fires missile, hits hard on the gas. 12 blocks from store, kid runs from front door. Home's like heaven, hell's the 11. Crimes on the skin the same, we put bullet holes from all the pain. Body's drained, cops are trailing like a train. Rest is needed, but only heeded this urge to maintain. These things happen at different times, but it's all the same. Home's to blame, things that drain the soul under pressure from the hold. Lies tell us what's told. Till we think bold like this, and situations come up like hot butter and scold. Car and kid collide, separating bone from hide. Young kid died, front door no more than 10 feet, so grandma cried. He steps out, groggy mind full of clout. Rain falls, police shouts out, fire 19. Death's mean, a young age to retire. Black Timbs. Thank you. affect your life and what it can do for all of us. I know personally, and I know I can speak to these gentlemen as well, that if we weren't doing this right here, I don't know what we'd do. We might be sitting in the seat right next to you. So I want to introduce this gentleman coming up. He is a two-time national speech and debate champion. He's a national poet. He's been on a Sunshine Bluegrass tour with myself and Eric Williams. I want you to give a big round of applause for Mr. Henze.
So when I was you all's age, I was going through a lot of stuff in school. I was struggling, and around that time, it seemed like the quickest, easiest thing to do was to just medicate that struggling student. And I was caught in the middle of that, and I wrote a poem about what I was going through when I was your age. So here you go. As a child, I was stricken with shaky foresight. Young and weak-willed, I was guided by the lamplight lit by strangers. Another troubled teenager trusting the torchbearers to stifle that stagnation that stopped his footsteps still. Bitter blue pills. Allow me a second to set the scene. I was 14 and screwed up royally. Problems always popped up when I was studying, you see. My eyes would get dazed, and the words would dance on the page, and I'd have to repeat a line a time or two. I couldn't comprehend what I just read. So my mama sent me to the shaman to see what he could see. He called it ADD. But fret not, said he, oh, that can be fixed for a tiny little fee. His answer was legalized speed. Amphetamines. I added Adderall to all my problems. You see, the pills pushed me to a place where I'd never been, and pain poured out the tip of my pen. Broken glass and jagged knives spun inside my head. Manic depression, they said. So I popped pills to fulfill my needs and wore the word bipolar on my sleeve, my prescribed identity. You see, they said I wasn't able, so I turned dark and lived my life like a man with the marca, tainted soul with the manic heart, left stark naked and screaming while stale smiles took the place of dreaming. My senses smothered, but the tears stopped streaming. And while yellow pills became pillows to rest my dizzy head upon, deep down inside, the fizz was gone, so I clicked Bix and blazed blunts to find my phased out fix. Got cool with cane to awaken the pain to still prove that I exist. I tried to startle what was already dead. She said, your eyes are really pretty when they're not red. It's been 7 years and I'm further down the path, but recently a different doctor halted me with this staff stuck in the ground, a beacon of better reason, sense, and sound. Suddenly I saw the light bend differently in the prism. You have astigmatism, he said. You know, sometimes your eyes get dazed, and the words will dance on the page, and you'll have to repeat a line a time or two. And I began to comprehend what he just said, that this beast slumbering within was something invented. So now my true identity is surfaced, drug addict with no larger purpose. And meanwhile, the taste of bitter blue pills makes the bile build up in my throat. My hands tremble with tremors while manic panic attacks make me slack in my endeavors. No longer will I live my life like a stain. It was your pills that made me insane. My jersey's gone and the ref said I'm not fit to play the game because these cracked up quacks stripped the shirt off my back and gave me a new number. Numb my pain was your answer and make me a zombie for a mandatory fee. You lied to me, called me crazy, and doped me up on your pharmaceutical scheme. But I'm never going to let you take that away from me again. I still got my soul and my pride and my pen. And now I'm ready to tackle the lion's den and send those sinners to a place more empty than the pit of a Ritalin-filled stomach. So finally they'll see inside the mind of a glossy-eyed child with nothing wrong but a wild tingle in his spine. A child whose teachers have left him behind. A child with nervous parents has terrified his mind. A child who can't stop choking on the taste of bitter blue. My pit is my sword that swings proud and true. Watch out, you pill pushers. I'm coming for you. So we've endured hardships growing up as well as you all. So we're very, very humble and appreciative of you all today. We're going to start with the writing exercise that Matthew Hernandez is going to lead you in. Our goal is to not make you a good poet. We know we not wish this lifestyle upon anybody. However, your biggest obstacle when you get out of this room, when you get out of this facility, is going to be a job interview. If you're able to speak your own mind, your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own opinions here today, you can ace any time where you talk to the judge, when you talk to an employer, if you talk to someone interviewing you to go to college, all those things are going to become easy, I promise you. So we're going to do a couple exercises that Mr. Hernandez is going to lead you in, okay?
All right. So where do you guys think poetry comes from? You can feel free to shout out anything. Where do you think poetry comes from? Okay, it comes from how you feel. It comes from where you might came from. Where do you guys else think poetry might come from? Anything. Pop up. Whatever pops up in your head. Your emotions. Okay, where else? Anybody. Just throw out anything. There's no wrong answer. What do you think? Your background? All right, absolutely. You come from your background, how you might have grown up. What do you think? From music, absolutely. You can be inspired by music and stuff. Anybody else got any ideas? What do you think? The way you was raised, absolutely. So poetry is a lot of where you came from, what makes you you. Now, anybody freestyle? Anybody do stuff like that? Y'all like freestyling? Are y'all familiar with what freestyling is? What's freestyling? It's just whatever comes off top of the head, right?
Freestyle is like we just sit there, whatever's on your mind first, you go with it, and just keep on with it, and try to keep on going.
Perfect. Now that's a perfect example of what we're going to be doing in this exercise. Now where I think poetry comes from, and there's a lot of different theories of where people actually think poetry can come from, I think poetry comes from the subconscious. The subconscious. Now y'all are familiar with what the conscious is, right? Like, I'm not talking about like Jiminy Cricket or anything. I'm talking like conscious, like you're conscious. Now go ahead. Yeah, like two different things tell you something. You got your conscious mind and you got your subconscious. Subconscious is a little voice in the back of your head. Maybe you don't always listen to it, whatever. Now there's a theory that was used to be used by this guy named Albert Einstein. You may have heard of him before. He used this theory called the Einstein theory that he made up himself, working with his subconscious. Now, your mind is amazing. Even if you think you're a genius, you're 10 times smarter than that. You're way smarter than you actually think you really are. Now, the way the mind works is, for example, let's say my foot. My foot, and the space that my foot takes up on the ground is your conscious. This is what makes you you. This is what gives you your personality. This is what gives you your sense of humor. This is what gives you your memories. This is what gives you your character. This is everything that makes you you is in this space that my foot takes up on the ground right here. It's 12 inches or so right there on the ground. That's everything that makes you you. Now your subconscious in relation to that is this entire gym floor. It's this entire facility. It's this entire state. That's how big your subconscious is. Everything you've ever seen at the corner of your eye, every conversation you've ever heard 3 aisles back, everything you've ever seen, read, looked at, talked about, all that is stored up within your mind. All that stuff is in there. It doesn't go anywhere. Your mind is amazing enough that all that stuff can be stored up in there. Now, you don't think about it all the time. You might push it in the back of your head. You might not want to think about it at all, but it's all in there. Now, what comes out with freestyling, when you're not thinking, that's when really stuff comes out. That's when your subconscious starts playing. Because when you're not thinking at all, that's when your subconscious really starts working, and your mind has to work on overdrive to really compensate for you not thinking at all. So the way this exercise is going to work is, you guys are not going to think, period. I don't want you to think at all. If you're familiar with freestyling, go off that basis. It's a really easy exercise. What we'll do is, I'll give you a word. And I give you a word like
unicorn.
Unicorn. Like, it's amazing to be a unicorn, but I'd love to be a stallion. Rising over the horizon, seeing whatever I can see to be blue, beautiful, and amazing in this world of yellow. This world of yellow, this world of sunset settings that are always beautiful, to see me, to see beautiful, to see the day, whatever, make it sound like poetry. But the point is, you don't have to make sense. And a lot of times, the words I give you might not make sense at all. I might give you unicorn and yellow. You never know. But what you're going to do is I'll give you a word, and you take that word and you write off of it as far as you can get it. As long as you can hold that thought, you write with that word. You keep on flowing with that word. And then I give you another word. And you keep writing with that word. And then I give you another word. You keep writing with that word. The point of this exercise is to not think. Because when you're not thinking, a lot of good stuff is going to come out of this. You'll be very surprised with how this works. So if y'all give me 10% effort, which I know all y'all will, it'll be a great exercise and all y'all have a poem written within the next 20 minutes. So, with that said, I want you to take your paper out and write quick poem number 1 on the